I suppose it's a reasonably good evening to a rather somber edition of Two Full Tosses, a show which didn't even play out last week. Such was the sadness, such was the melancholy, since was the emptiness of a life devoid of all meaning, following the announcement which rendered my co-host Alan Committie simply emotionally unable to join me on the show, and me in turn emotionally unable to not join him, and thus play out with a week where not only was the flag at half-mast, but the Wi-Fi at no mast. And so no show last week, because Alan Committie, we've had some difficult times. You and I have held each other slightly too tightly during Cricket World Cup quarterfinals, during Cricket World Cup semi-finals, during Cricket World Cup knockout matches, during Cricket World Cup Duckworth-Lewis assessments. And despite all of that collective sadness, I don't think I've seen you quite so bereft as when the news came through that you could no longer not watch the IPL.
The sadness that is sitting in my soul is just unspeakable. And yet I will attempt to speak about it because that's what I do. And Dan, you're absolutely right. As you know, I've been vehement about my attempts at not watching the IPL. And now to have that taken away from me, to have to go, as I have done in these last few days, go onto the internet and go down YouTube wormholes to find all the previous editions of the IPL and not watch all those games on repeat to fill the void that was already a hole, which was empty with nothing, filled with the viewing of the games that I couldn't watch. And I'm happy to report that in the previous 17 editions of the IPL, the same game was played over and over again. I think 14,618 times with the same result. And each time, Dhoni won. Each time, Dhoni, whatever team he played for, that's all I've learned from the IPL. And the fact that he couldn't win this year has made me very, very sad. But here I am, here you are. It's episode 16 or 17, if you don't count last week's missed episode, and I don't. So this is episode 18 or 12, or it's the end. So thank you very much, and good night. Oh, no, we haven't. No, we've still got more, haven't we?
Well, we do indeed, and we're going to try and lift the gloom and the sadness sits across the cricketing world, and we'll do so tonight because although we are a distraught pair, we're also an ecstatically happy pair because we have got a cricketer who you and I grew up watching, who our parents grew up watching, who their parents grew up watching, and I think who we thought our grandchildren would also grow up watching in due course, but they won't because unbelievably he has decided to retire because he can't go on holiday anymore, which we'll elaborate on just a moment. Special guest coming up tonight, but before we talk about him, before we talk a little bit more about the IPL, let's get the show going, Alan Committie, with what is always the highlight of our evening, other than our guest, and that is Alan's lost legend. Now, we won't tell you who it is just yet, but Alan, give us a preview so we can try and guess. Good.
Now, look at that face. I mean, that's a face even a mother would be slightly kind of in two minds about. But this man, as you might see from that beautiful outfit, ended up as an umpire. But of course, he is one of our lost legends. He's no Lee Barnard, but he played for almost as long as our guest this evening, and he's about the same height. So who is that? If you think you know, why don't you tap something into the little chat bar, and we'll see if you have the right answer. We'll be talking about him sooner than you think, but slightly later than you'd expect.
All right. We won't put them up on screen yet, but I see a few answers have come through. From Martin Stevenson and from former Boyland scrum half Gary van Lochenberg, who would, as we say on many weeks, would be a lost legend of rugby himself, where this is a show about rugby, not about cricket, but it is about cricket.
He lost.
And we will reveal that lost legend in a moment. I think we do need to stretch it out slightly. There are lots of people to have sympathy for. Mahendra Singh Dhoni, who was playing in his 82nd edition of the IPL, not being able to finish this particular one, which was very, very disappointing. The person I feel saddest for, and I think our guest, so I know is watching but isn't on yet, would identify. I feel sorry for Chris Morris because he would have been planning his defense when he got back to sneak into the country, avoid the relatives he hadn't heard from in years, the old friends on Facebook from school, just looking for a little startup loan to get that cryptocurrency business off the ground. Now, all of a sudden, back unprepared, he is going to be swamped with people with very good business ideas for him to invest in.
And I've also heard, because of the difficulties the Australian cricketers have had in getting back to their country, he has bought an island for all the Australian cricketers which may or may not be on firm enough ground. That I don't know about, but he has offered them accommodation on an island somewhere in the somewhere, which is incredible.
I believe it's very generous, Chris. I believe it's actually Pardon Island.
It's a Pardon Island. Is that? Oh, I didn't. Okay. Oh, well, that's good.
Well done, Chris Morris. All right. Hey, look, this is a very serious show, and it talks about very serious things in a very serious tone, and it speaks to the severity thereof. And you saw on the interweb earlier on today on TweetDeck or TickFace or one of these, there was a request from Cricket South Africa for 2 new non-executive directors, and you could almost feel the voices saying, "Hello, Dan. Where are you, Alan? Please come."
I felt it. You felt it. I downloaded the documents and I filled in my forms, and I know I faxed them to you. You still got a fax machine, don't you?
I do. Loaded them to MySpace and published them there.
Excellent. And I'm just so excited to be part of this incredible, what can only be described as a revolution in Cricket South Africa administration. Well, not revolution, but improve, just something. Any activity is welcome, I think.
I think we'd be marvelous. We have plans, very careful plans, which will involve long lunches with Sascock in Mauritius as we help to develop cricket throughout Africa, which is part of our mandate, which I'm very excited about. We will bring you in next week with a few more updates. Look, we don't want to waste too long because we do have a very special guest, and he is an extra special guest. And I see a number of people are throwing in a few answers. So let's see who's got it right. But before we see who those people are, Alan Committie, can you introduce us this week to Alan's lost legend?
Well, there he is. You'll remember him if you only started watching cricket a little more recently than Dan and I did, as cricket umpire Ian Howell. But of course, he is a brilliant lost legend from many, many years ago, back in the 80s. And yes, Monty Stevenson, well done, sir. Ian Howell, of course, was a fantastic, I want to say an all-rounder. He certainly was, and also as a cricketer as well. And played for Border, and I thought it was good to give Border a shout out. They produced some fantastic cricketers over the years, and the Howell family, I think there were 12 Howell playing brothers. They all played cricket for Border. I think Border was just a Howell family, and then of course he went on to become a fairly, I would say, look at him there, just describing some of how big he got in the late 90s, and he was a man, a fine umpire. I always looked at him, and I hope the players felt the same. Maybe we could ask our guest a little later what his opinions were of umpire Ian Howell. But I always felt he earned the respect of the players. And even though they couldn't always see him behind the stumps, sometimes you just see the little hat above the bails. So that is our lost legend. He's no Lee Barnard. I think that's obvious. But he's very much our lost legend this week. A shout out to Ian Howell.
Well, particularly well done to Dominee Gary van Lochenberg. Ian Howell and his brother David Howell played for EP and Border. Ian was a left-arm spin bowler, and his brother David was a wicket keeper. And the aforementioned Monty Stevenson confirming that they were at Grey High with his butt Ron. So there we go. This is nothing if not a show filled with information that will help you out when that next Tinder date comes in to play. Also, speaking of Tinder, Angel Candy is with us. Hiya, Alan and Dan. Angel, lovely to see you. And thank you very much for joining us. And I see Jade Pasley and Leanne Allison and all sorts of other people are all watching the show. And why not? Because there is a greater Monday night online South African cricket show to be watching. And when I mentioned his name to you, Alan, when I spoke to you this morning, well, when I phoned your PA and you put me onto your manager who had you on hold until your comms team came through and passed on your early Nokia to you so I could break the news to you. When I told you who was on, there was almost a childlike giggle of excitement to your voice.
Well, I mean, I've been watching cricket for many, many years, Dan, as have you. And as you said earlier in the show, this man seems to have been part of that cricket legacy for all of cricket time, even. And the fact that he's now a guest on our show elevates the status of this show. I mean, I'd like to say it elevates it almost as tall as he is, but that would be doing the elevation big disservice. But that's not the point. The point is he's a wonderful man, and he's no Kevin Peterson, and I think we can be grateful for that.
Indeed. Thank you very much for that important reminder that we don't have Kevin Peterson on the show because we've gone one better. And so it gives me great pleasure, albeit a touch of sadness, given that he has finally retired after decades and decades and decades of first-class cricket. Please welcome our special guest tonight on Two Full Tossers. It's Henry David.
Wow! It's enough.
Oh, beautiful. Hello, guys. Thanks for having me. I just thought I had to put my helmet on because I got a message on social media from Dan that he's coming from the long run. And he's fully kitted tonight, especially as well there.
People are probably thinking now, well, they couldn't get Henry Davids because they're not a big enough show. So thank you for taking off the helmet. So you can see it really is the Henry Davids. That is how big this show has got. Henry Davids, welcome. And I don't know, part of me wants to say congratulations, you had a great career, well done on the time. And mostly I'm just annoyed, though, because I loved watching you play cricket. Now you have deprived me of that enjoyment, Henry Davids. It's selfish. You have selfishly retired from cricket, Henry Davids.
I want to throw out
Dan, thank you.
I want to throw out the word quitter. That's what I want to say. And I
quitter.
know that's
You're a quitter, Henry David. You're a quitter. Quitter. Quitter.
Years of playing first
I think
class.
I think I must put the helmet back on.
Yeah.
No,
tell me, Henry,
thank you very much. Yeah.
How difficult was it? I mean, if you go back, you started playing with sort of Barry Richards and Mike Proctor and those early days. You've come all the way through now. An amazing career. You played all over South Africa, all over the world. How tough was it to finally say, you know what, enough is enough? Or had you got that feeling that actually it really is time?
Yeah, look, it's been, like you say, obviously with the times that we're in, it's been a tough 2 years, if you can call it that. The plan was always just to filter out of professional cricket, getting into Northerns or the Titans as you were back then, or still will be, just to help out with development, the younger guys coming through, starting with the sports mentorship program in the business world and all that. But then COVID kicked in. We went into a bubble. I was already set to go, so looking forward to it, then I got COVID, then I couldn't play a game. So it was a bit of a mess, I think at the end of the day, it was all small signs that got me to say, okay, no, I think it's time, it's not the end for me in cricket, but on the cricket field, yes, I think there's a much bigger role for me within the cricket fraternity, basically, especially now with you being on the interim board or whatever you call it,
Yeah.
Yes, we are the salvation of South African cricket, Henry David, myself and Alan Smith.
An umpire, Henry, is that something like an Ian Howell? Could you become an umpire one day? Is that something in your
dear. Oh no. 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 Look, I've spent 21 years on the cricket field, running around. I doubt that I want to go stand behind the stumps and stand another 20 years on the cricket field. I'd rather chase a smaller white ball.
Oh,
on the golf course.
Right. I wondered how long it would take before he'd bring up golf, and it was exactly 2 minutes and 12 seconds.
2 minutes and 12 seconds longer than we anticipated, but it's still relatively soon. You don't need to worry about You don't need to be worried about umpiring as a pure aside, because part of the mandate that Alan and I are putting forward as the new executives of cricket in South Africa is we are bringing back into cricket first class and international player umpires. So if you're batting at 7, you have to start as the umpires and just make it through. So long overdue.
Oh, Dan, I've got a great story like that, like player umpires. Back when I was still playing the Boland leagues, like obviously very young still. They were the second teams were playing on the field next to the A field in the club game. So player umpires as well, obviously. So you hear the guys shouting, and then the decision is not going to the appealing team's needs at the moment, and then you can hear the swear words, and this the heat of the battle. And then after another couple of appeals, there was a proper brawl. So it could be quite exciting on a international game if you see a guy like Kieran Pollard run at you, I think you could come second, you know?
Yeah. Exactly.
I think it will be brilliant. I cannot wait for that particular. I also then, Alan, you'll agree with me here because I think we know that Henry has been fundamentally dishonest with us so far, talking about why he has finished playing cricket. It's got absolutely nothing to do with time to hang up the boots, give the younger guys a chance, time to move on. We've got a photo of what the Titans do every single pre-season. They go and spend 3 weeks in the Seychelles on the beach. I think that's Fudge and a couple of the boys. You've basically quit cricket because you can't go to the Seychelles anymore because of COVID. And so you and Albie Morkel have got no desire to play for the Titans anymore.
That was one of the things that also said, you know, obviously I think we've had the best pre-seasons in South African cricket history. You know, we used to go to the Kruger, like when Barge was there, we went to see all like with the rhinos. We got not attacked by a leopard the one night. Unbelievable experiences. We went to the Seychelles twice. Oh, now COVID. Oh, damn, really.
In the old days, Kepler would just take them on a boxing camp, and that would have been fun.
Yeah. And run. Boxing camp and run. Early mornings. I remember that my days in the National Academy with the late Hilton Ackerman. We went Sanin. Davil's Club, actually. You know, up north, like in the winter, it gets cold there. So early morning, 6:30, they wake you up. You must go dive in a pool. There's still ice on the pool. Yikes. So you dive in, and it's like you get like a mini stroke, or like your breath gets taken away. Oh, stupid! Ooh. You get into the back of the combi, the team combi. We get driven 7.5 kilometers down the road. They drop you off there. You must run back.
That's crazy.
And I didn't even know that Rudolph Crowley had been involved with the Titans. That's
Oh no, it was all part of the fun. It was great days, you know, where you get put proper like out of your comfort zone. So it's nice. You get to learn yourself, learn more about yourself, and especially in those times where you see a leopard run at you, or you have to go run 7.5 k's in 5 degrees. Oh, yeah. I'm not going to miss it.
How has cricket changed over the kind of number of years that you played? I mean, have there been kind of fundamental changes in terms of the feel of it, or is it something that you've just always dealt with in the same way and played in the same way?
I think for me personally, it stayed the same because not a lot of things affected me on the way. When we first started, it was a lot harder and tougher. The umpires needed to step in a lot, you know. Guys spat at you, they were swearing at you, just to get you out of your comfort zone, which was awesome, you know. It tests you as a human being in the battle, basically. And nowadays, I just feel like if you look at even international cricket, a guy like KG Rabada, you know what he brings to the game, that competitiveness, that aggression, they're taking it out of cricket, basically, and especially also domestic cricket. I think it's a lot softer. It does help if you play against guys that's fairly harsh on the field. They test you mentally, physically, everything, you know, and that's how you get tougher. That's where mental toughness comes in. Nowadays, when things are really tough, guys, especially domestically, nothing against domestic cricket, was a good platform for the guys. But I think if they are a bit more lenient, especially, the guys would be a lot more mentally tougher and prepared for international cricket. It's the same as this stupid thing I watched over the weekend, the rugby, with these referrals. It's absolutely ridiculous. I think sport in general, the human factor, it gets taken away a little bit too much.
Oh, those good old days, which we like the days when you and I played, Alan, Committie. I mean, those were the proper days of cricket when their parents made teas and umpires gave you at LBW when you were actually caught at backward point, and you played on pitches where you didn't just lose the car keys. Occasionally, you lost your short leg when he fell into one of them. So those were the proper days of cricket, Alan, Committie.
All change is all so easy now. Easy. That's what I say. Unbelievable.
Very.
The career that you had was remarkable. We went and had a look at some highlights, and in fact, we found both of them. So we thought we would show one of them, this I'll let Alan talk you through this, because this is you really destroying the confidence of a young fellow South African. So if we can roll this. Here we go. This is Henry Davids at the crease, getting ready, and Alec Committie takes away. I think that's Wayne Parnell.
Wayne Parnell has bowled you he was a slow bowler anyway, and it just feels like you've bullied him. You're talking about bullying a young, inexperienced, I can only call him a slow left armer, and you've dealt with him in the most disrespectful. Look at him. The ball barely gets to you, and you've just about got that over the boundary. Wait, it's hit. It's smashed into
through the roof.
Through the
roof. Alan Committie.
Unbelievable. This is what was so remarkable about you, is that when you did come to the crease, you were that entertainer. You only see it, as you say, there's not that many personalities out in the cricket field anymore. You were certainly one of them. You were in that entertainment category. You would stay and watch to see what is Henry Davids going to get up to today. And I think that was always part of your legacy. It was fun to watch you bat. You never knew what was going to happen.
Yeah, it can either be very exciting or quick.
Yeah.
Well, both. Either quick in and out or quick exciting.
Were you always that aggressive, even as a youngster, in terms of your batting style?
Yeah, always. Like I first started off as a middle order batsman, and then I got a gap with Boland. Was contracted with a junior contract. Someone got injured, broken his finger or something, and we went to play against Northerns in the Super Short Series. My debut Super Short Series game at Super Short Park, where I finished my career basically. And we were facing, and the day before or 2 days before it was a 4-day game. 2 days before that, the coach told me, "Listen, you're going to open the batting." I was like, "Yeah." So I wasn't. For me, you're 20 years old. It's an opportunity. You just want to play cricket, you know. So I remember the first innings back then. Super Short Park used to be very, very quick. Steve Alworthy was opening the bowling with Greg Smith, Craig Townsend. So they had a very, very good bowling attack. I remember Steve Alworthy bowled, opened the batting. Third ball, caught behind. And there's a lot of stairs at Super Short Park. So I'm walking up the stairs like, "Yo, what are you doing here?" And then the second innings, I remember James Henderson opening the batting with me. And I said, "James, the first ball, if I hit it somewhere close to the middle, you running just to get off the mark." And I got off the mark, and I got 100 off 80 balls in a 4-day game. And I've always wanted to be attacking and to dominate bowlers. Look, sometimes you're going to look like a clown or an idiot, like Kepler Wessels used to say. But for me, it was the exciting part of cricket. You know, I knew my whole career basically, if I stuck to my game plans, I will get to, not perfecting it, but be consistent and successful with it. And it obviously helped throughout my whole career, where I knew if I was in for a certain period of time, teams will be under pressure. And that was, for me, luckily, I didn't try to change it. And, you know, a lot of times where things don't work out for any sportsman, it doesn't matter what type of sport you play, is you try to change things, you try to be someone else. And I think for me, what helped was I was myself my whole career. And I think probably that's why I played for so long.
All-time favorite innings?
Oh dear. I've thought about this, because I've got this question a lot, and I can't. There's a lot of unbelievably awesome highlights. I had great Champions League tournaments. I don't know if you remember the Champions League with the T20s. I've played in 3 editions. I've had great tournaments, like I said. I have the fastest domestic T20 100, 41 balls against the Warriors in Cape Town when I was still playing for the Cobras. For the Titans, there's numerous knocks that I can pinpoint. Oh, awesome innings. My debut series for South Africa, the game in PE, I got 60 odd. In the game in East London, I got 50 odd. I was man of the series in that. To my first series for South Africa. So I can't pinpoint one game, if you can call it that. There's just too many to do, because like there's not one really that stand out. It's just, I enjoyed all of it, even the ones that was a sickle, the real struggle. Most is not. So I can't say there's one.
Look,
innings
I
that do stand out.
understand that entirely. We've had the same question to Alan. He cannot pinpoint which one of 365 ball 12s for the Westford second 11 in a rich vein of form he felt was the most fluent, eye-catching, or important. And it's a difficult question to answer, Alan Committie.
It is, and as I've reminded you in the past, having played first team at Westerford, which is the same team Fudge played for many years later, that I ended that season with a grand total of 23 runs over 9 innings, coming in at number 10. Sorry, Henry, maybe find your own show if you want to laugh at everything. Just give me a chance as well. Okay, because we've had to listen about all your innings. This innings, that innings. I also would like to share a little bit about myself. Okay. And I'll never forget, I scored a 3 not out against Bishops, 14th 11, I think. Well, there wasn't even an 11. It was a 14. It was the 14th team, but there was only 8 players. And they still beat us narrowly by an innings, but in a one-day game. But it was incredible, and I'll remember that for the rest of my day.
Look, Alan, I tell you, I'm going to ask you to just go and take a break and compose yourself. I can see you're upset by what has been said here by Henry Davids, who's just ruthless and hard. You go and take a break. We'll come back to you a little bit later once you've calmed down. Let's let you go, and I'll just stick to Henry myself. Henry, you're not a nice person. That really wasn't very kind of you. We'll let you apologise later. What we'll do before that, though, is we have the low light of our show, if it's not already you making poor Alan Committie cry about his modest cricket career, and that is our quiz, where JP Dermany holds the unrecord, I suppose, of 1 out of 5, and Darren Goff has got 4 out of 5. Ashwell Prince has got 4 out of 5, and I think Darnay Vanika a couple of weeks got about 3 out of 5. So let's see. Vernon Philander got 2 out of 5. He wasn't very good either. So are you ready, Henry Davids, for the 2 full tossers big cricket quiz?
Oh, let us see. I think I am, Dan. I think I am. Do I need my helmet?
You probably do, and an arm guard, and an abdominal protector in your trademark small medium. Right. Let's go. You got 5 questions. Let's see how you go with them. Question number 1. When you made your T20 debut for South Africa, 2 other South Africans also made their debut in that very same game. Can you remember who they were?
Quentin de Kock.
And?
Oh, dear.
You got half a point. You want to get this one right. It was Chris Morris. There we go. He'll send you a Ferrari just to congratulate you on getting that right. So there we are. 1 out of 1. Well done, Henry Davids.
No, I'm under pressure. That's like making an eagle on the first hole, eh?
Well, you're only about 6 off 1. So okay. All right. Now you've retired at an almost childlike 41 years of age. I would like to know the gentleman in this photo. He's the oldest Test cricketer ever. Any idea who he is?
Oh dear. I have no idea. W.G. Grace? No. I have no idea who it is.
A clean-shaven version thereof. That was the English cricketer Wilfred Rhodes. He was 55, Henry Davids, when he played for England. So what are you doing retiring? You've still got 14 years to go.
That's a good effort, that 55, eh? Gotta say.
Well, a Skulk Brits, come out of retirement next year in time for a World Cup of some sort. You'll be absolutely fine. All right, you got 1 from 2. Question number 3. You made your international debut, your first-class debut in 2000. As always, there were 5 Wisden Cricketers of the Year in 2000. One of them was a South African. Which South African was one of the 5 Wisden Cricketers of the Year in 2000? And you can work this one out if you think it through.
You can work this out. If you think it through. Is that a clue, eh?
It's a basic question, Henry Davids.
This is Jacques Kallis.
It's not Jacques Kallis. My suggestion to think it through was to work out, well, if it's 2000, it's somebody who played well in 1999. In 1999, there was a Cricket World Cup.
A World Cup.
One
For
South
South
African
Africa.
did rather well. A guy
What's
by
your
the name
gift?
Lance Klusener in the
Oh
19
dear.
World Cup, the player of the
Yeah.
tournament at the World Cup.
He
Henry.
was. Yeah, no, I was thinking of like the moment of the tournament, the drop catch. Oh, sorry.
I don't think they give you Wisdom Cricketer of the Year for dropping the catch, loses the World
But
Cup.
I've
Henry
got to
David.
say, Ursula had a very good World Cup as well, though. So yeah, you were, and
You
yeah,
did.
Lance Cruiser
You
was
did indeed.
obviously Lance Cruiser. Yeah.
All right. You are sitting at 1 from 3. So a fast start, but now getting stuck in the middle overs.
Told you,
Question
the
4.
pressure.
So this is you batting. I'd like to know who's the other cricketer in the photo? Who is with you in this photo?
Number 11 of Sri Lanka. That was, I know the bowler that had bowled me there. It's a spinner. Is it Sangakkara was playing as well? Was Sangakkara number 11?
It was
Bless his
indeed
nuts.
Kumar Sangakkara. Congratulations, Henry Davids. You've beaten JP
Number 2, I beat JP Duminy.
Oh dear. All right. 2 from 4. Let's see if you can get 60%, which if you're writing matric in South Africa is basically 100% pass rate. I'd like to know.
Become a good doctor.
Exactly. The man you just seen, Kumar Sangakkara, he and Mahela Jayawardena own a rather nice restaurant in Colombo. What is it called?
Crab something. Do I get half a point for that? Because I ate
No,
there.
I need the full title. You've eaten there. You cannot get this
Yes.
wrong. You've eaten there, Henry Davids.
It's long ago. It was very long ago.
I'm going to text Kumar Mahela now and tell them that their restaurant is so little to you, you can't even remember what it's called.
Oh, it's a crab something.
You're on the right track, but it's not getting you anything.
I know.
You're 2 from 4.
King
This
of
is
crabs.
the difference.
It's not the king of crabs. It's the crab something. Oh no, it's cheap. It had
5,
the whole
4,
kit on.
3, 2, 1. Last chance. I'm
Crab
afraid
Kings.
it is the Ministry of Crabs.
The Ministry of Crabs. Yes, that's the one. Yeah. See, I knew it was the crab something because look, it was. I've got to say that it was unbelievable. Like massive crabs. You get the chili one, hot one. Obviously with the spices and Columbus. I love hot food. Tremendous.
Oh, I've only heard good things.
Absolutely.
Alan Lamb raves about it. I think he takes a lot of people over there on his tours. All right. Well, look, 2 out of 5. So not our greatest result, not our worst result. But
I'll take 2.5, Dan.
Well, you can take it or not. I'm afraid we've got more difficult things to deal with there because I've just got a text message from Alan Committie. He's still distraught. He says he's not coming back on the show, but he has got somebody to fill in for him for the next few minutes. And so it's a very welcome addition. No Alan Committie, who's in tears after Henry Davids abused him about his cricket, laughing at him, but instead joining us as a very special guest on the show, Henry. Please say a very warm welcome and a special good evening to the Life Vice President of the Griqualand North Scorers and Umpires Association, meneer Johan van der Walt.
Baie dankie, Daniel. Ag, baie dankie. It's a groot eer, it's a great honoration to be here, to be talking with this wonderful oukie yesterday. What is hy nou? It's Henry Davids. That is beautiful. Henry Davids. First of all, meneer, I must say for you, you must choose between the first, because you've got too many first names in your name. Henry and David. You know what I mean? Which is you like Scott. What the hell? What gaat on? You must choose one or the other. You know what I mean? Yeah. Yeah, you can laugh all you want, people. Anyway, this is a great honoration. It's lovely to see you. And baie dankie. Ek is 'n groot I'm a great fan of yourself. Even though when you used to play cricket, want jy's klein, you're very small. Shame, I can sometimes I can imagine you auditioning for The Hobbit and then probably not even getting for it because you're too small, even for The Hobbit, even for you. Say for me now, you like the golf. Are you as aggressive on the golf baan as you are on a cricket field? Or are you a defensive golfer? Say for ons, tell for us.
I've toned down a little bit. I've been very aggressive, the stupid aggressive on the golf course where you think, okay, now you can go on in 2 with water on the left, out of bounds on the right, and then you're not really sure what shape you're hitting. So yeah, I used to be very aggressive. I used to play golf like I played my cricket. But now, obviously, with the years of experience on the golf course, I've toned down. I'm a bit more conservative.
And you play with the kiddies clubs, eh?
Yeah, just to get, low down to the ground. I don't want to overhit and reach
That's
too
right.
far. And yeah.
Beautiful. I could imagine you having to get help out of the bunkers, because I can't imagine how you just get up. Would someone have to lift? No, it doesn't matter. It's fine. It's all good.
No, but in COVID times, I don't go in the bunker, though. COVID, there's no rake, so I don't go in the bunker.
That's what I've heard. I've heard you've hardly spent any time. Listen, listen now. I'm going to give you some questions, and then you don't have to think here, okay? You don't have to think. Imagine you Herschel Gibbs now, and you're going to choose the one or the other. You're going to choose the one or the other. You just say the answer quickly, no thinking aloud. Okay. Are you ready? It doesn't matter. Here we go.
Yeah. Okay.
For you, I'm sorry if I'm laughing. It's just because I know what comes next. For you, is it a hobbit or a dwarf? For you.
Hobbit.
Hobbit. Mooi. For you, smashing a full toss over mid-wicket or hitting a length ball over extra cover?
Length ball over extra cover.
I can see you hitting it, man. Jy het so pragtig mooi geslaan daar over the offside.
Dankie.
And you've got a very big forehead. Let's leave it at that. But let's leave it at that. For you, Vin Diesel of Die Rots?
Die Rots.
Die Rots. Oh, daai Dwayne Johnson. He's bliksem. He's fris gebou. He's freshly built. He's got muscles in all the wrong places. All right. Now, I know that you used to scamper between the wickets. Jy was baie vinnig. But imagine you had to run with one of the slower players. Running with Jacques Kallis or Chris Gayle? Choose one.
Chris Gayle.
Really? Jacques Kallis is even slower. Yeah, I can believe it, actually. He's bloody lazy.
Chris Gayle don't run. He just hit boundaries.
And you don't even get to face a ball. Okay, wearing shorts or wearing tracksuit longs?
Shorts.
It's a trick question because both of them are longs for you. Even the shorts
or long shorts.
Yeah, long
and
shorts.
The long shorts, yes.
Okay, you played for so long. Let's look at old people. For you, Yoda or the old lady from the Titanic?
Old lady from the Titanic.
You remember, she was the one that yes, is that who you choose? Beautiful.
With her hands.
That's right. Not like that. It was Ian Howell playing the part in the movie.
Yeah.
If you could choose aggressive batsman, who's better, Viv Richards or A.B. de Villiers?
Oh, dear. That's tough.
Yeah. Oh, that's tough. Now
Viv Richards.
Viv Richards. Look, that was the answer I wasn't expecting. Okay. Scoring 45 of 9 deliveries, 45 of 9, or 130 of 412.
45 of 9.
That's it. That's what I like from you. You're a bloody entertainer, man. And then finally, here you are, because you were a bit of a destructive batsman. Here are 2 pictures. Choose. Are you either the Hulk or the Thing?
The Hulk.
It's a pity because you look like the Thing with the same baldness. I'll say that for now. Well done, man. It was a great honor. You didn't even have to wear your helmet. Not that, because if you had, you would have disappeared completely. As it is, I don't know how they're getting up. You must have a super zoom lens. Thank you that you saw me met my gepraat het. Thank you that you have with me. My tanne. Look, sometimes have that. No, it's not good. Coming out as kind of excitement. Daniel, hier zijn nou terug. All the names, like scored. This is Henry Davids.
Indeed, Henry Davids. I'm never sure. Is it whether the P or the N is silent? Is it Neil Peel? I can never quite remember, Henry.
But Neil, I saw you were there last week. Actually, I was gonna send you a message. Listen, just look on the left. That's where I'm from, my hometown. Beautiful place, eh?
I know, they've got little statues over you, and it's amazing how many kids that are running through the streets called Klein Henry when you go down to purely a tribute, I'm sure. I'm going to see if we can get Alan back if he is no longer in tears. But as we await his return, now that you have retired, you probably can just retire properly and look after your garden and walk around in your slippers and pick up your pension once a month. But I suspect that won't be the case. What is life holding for Henry Davids going forward?
Hello, Alan. Sorry again for like Dan said, the disrespect. I didn't mean it like that. I'm a very lovable guy. Like you said, I've always have a smile on my face. You know.
No, that's one of the things I admire most about you. You've always had a smile, and I realized actually I was making that about myself because people don't respect. Okay, that's actually can't. Sorry, no.
So should we get back to my retirement or life after retirement, Dan?
I think so. I think Alan's retired as well into a small heap crumpled in the corner of his room next to his collection of Zakumi dolls from the 2010 Football World Cup, which he nourishes himself with. What will you be doing, Henry David?
Yes, Dan. For me, it's obviously, I think it would be very wrong of me to not be a lovely trophy there, Alan. To not be involved still with cricket. So I'm going to help with the development here at Northerns, getting batters through basically. During my long cricket playing career, I studied counseling and communication. I did some executive coaching courses. So it's also like the mentorship, the mental game, mental coaching, help guys get through, because look, we're busy with a different generation now of cricketers, of people, especially our younger generation, where they tend to struggle to adapt to the toughness of the game, especially Pretoria. We have schools up here that is unbelievable. The guys dominate junior cricket. When they come to senior cricket, they take a little bit longer than what they would hope for to get used to senior cricket, basically. So the business is to help them overcome that small step, basically, to get them ready for professional cricket quicker and not for them to take it too long, So yeah, it's basically that's some private business that I'm getting into, some express meat as well, butcheries, basically. So it's a bit of everything. So it's exciting. I'm excited with the path. Yes, it's express butchery.
Express meat. Are you
Express
knocking
butchery.
things over and
I was too
flogging
quick.
roadkill?
No, it's an express butchery, a franchise that we're starting, specifically at golf estates. Because it's quite easy. It's tough when you live in a golf estate, Dan. Like where you live, Steyn City again. The top one. So it's tough. There's no butchery there, so you have to go outside to Woolies to go buy meat. So if you play around a golf, there'll be a fridge or a freezer where you can buy your meat, take home after a lovely round of golf, go braai. So you don't have to go outside your estate. So you'll be in the comfort of your security and all that.
What is it? This is Henry Davids as he heads out the house. Darling, where are you going? Ah, yes, dear. I'm just off to the butchery. 7 hours later, he comes back with half a kilo of mince and 2 toasters from the golf day he's just been at.
Listen, I've seen him
say, "Oh, I want a meter as well."
That's true. Yes. Also, when you play
even though they weren't a meter.
When you play golf, the stakes are very high. Hey!
On that note of comic genius from Alan Committie, Alan, I let you go off to go and quietly sob yourself to sleep at the failure of Henry Davids, clutching your little trophy for under 9 most enthusiastic player, which was won when he was 14. But it's still, I think, a very worthy accolade. Henry Davids, it's been an absolute delight having you on the show. Good luck with the retirement. Better luck coming out of retirement just in time to go to the Seychelles next year, and then retiring again so you can flog more frozen Labrador at your local golf course. And I think Alan and I are very much of one mind when we say you entertained us royally and you gave us many, many innings, many, many performances that really did delight. So thank you for that. As much as we'd love to know you were still playing, you certainly do deserve the break.
Thank you, guys. Thanks for having me.
Absolute pleasure. Cheers, man.
Oh, even though he was so horrible and mean and awful to you, he's a lovely guy.
He's just the most delightful man. And actually, you're probably not wrong, Dan. I can imagine Graham Smith next week adding his name to the list of all the people who are coming out of retirement and coming back into cricket. And he'll probably be part of the T20 plans in the coming months, probably playing in 4 or 5 positions.
Oh, as long as he's in the same top order as Lee Barnard, Alan Committie, I think we shall be a happy pair. We have much work to do. This is serious business, and Alan and I are off to finalize our plans to take over as executive, non-executive directing directors of Cricket South Africa. Until that happens, you can't get a ticket to Alan's show this weekend. You can't get one next week either. They've all been sold. But I think the week after, there might be 2 still available at the Engine in Golden Mile as you pull your way off. Alan, Committie, lovely to spend the evening with you. And we'll see you again next week on Two Full Tosses, where who knows, maybe Kevin Peterson will be joining us. Goodbye.